So I just want to go over really quickly how you can do different techniques with your stencil, whether you're going to do a mirror image or a repetitive pattern. So if I want to do a repetitive pattern, I can start the adapter wherever I want it to be on the stencil and stamp tool. It can be down lower and just make sure it's all level in there. And even though the stencil itself, the hummingbird, is coming off the edge, that's perfectly fine. If I'm worried about any of the ink getting on my tool itself, I can put a piece of cardstock under here just to mask it, or since it's a distressed ink, it'll wipe right off. So I would just be blending it right here, and then I can continue on and bring it up and just keep going across and do a repetitive pattern. You can do it on a thin piece of plain wrapping paper and do a repetitive pattern on wrapping paper. That'd be a really, really cute way to wrap a gift, especially if the gift inside is a hummingbird project that you made, framed, and gave to them as a gift. So that's one technique. If you wanted to do a mirror image, so as you can see, the hummingbird is facing this direction. But what if I wanted to have her or him kissing another hummingbird? I could turn it around or have it flying in the other direction and just match it up like this. So you just turn it around, the notches match up exactly where they were because the holes are the same. You just flip it around, it doesn't matter, and it's ready to go. So you can do it that way. If you want to do the converter, you can add and have the hummingbird going in another direction. Or I could take one of our stencil converters and peel off the adhesive backing. And it depends on the direction that I want the hummingbird to go. I would just peel off the adhesive little strip right here, and it exposes the adhesive strip. What we created these for is to convert any of your existing stencils to align with our tab, so you can do it on our stencil and stamp tool. But say I wanted this to go the other direction. It's not going to line up if I put it on here because I want his beak to be going down the other way. I could go ahead and put my stencil onto the converter there and position it like this way and have him flowing that way, lift it off and position it at the bottom, upside down, however you want to do it. That way, I'm not moving my actual material that I'm stenciling on, I'm just moving the converter. So it'll all be registered and in the same position throughout. You can just keep your converter on here at all times and just use it whenever you need it, or take it off and reapply your adhesive strip onto there so you make sure none of your little glitters or speckles will get stuck on there. So if you want to do repetitive pattern, just have your little tabs notched in there and just bring it all the way down, around, across, however you want to do it. Mirror image, lift it up, and just position it in the same direction, and it's going to go the mirror image of the way you just done it. So that's a great way that you can use the different techniques. So to show you a few examples of what I just explained, here is one of the flower stencils using the mirror image. So the same image, but they're shifted up a little bit, flip the stencil around, and there's a mirror image in two different colors. So that's how it would all turn out. Whether it's repetitive or just two on one card front, it makes a great little project. You don't have to use the full stencil. You can create your image with the entire stencil and then trim it down afterwards. And here's the little bird and just a narrower piece of one of the actual same flowers as before, and you just trim it down. You don't have to use the full square piece. It just is a great little project, and you can go ahead and cut it as a tag and hang it off. It doesn't have to be the exact same, especially if you got it a little messed up and maybe your leaf didn't turn out the way you wanted to do. Just trim it off, and it's still, they would never know when they receive that card if it was something that you originally started it with differently. So here's another example of the crystal glaze showing through. It's wiped through with the texture tool, and you can see the dark coming through the glitter, and you're still able to see the black, but then you're able to also see the glitter, and adds that little shimmer. Another technique using our Arctic Sky and our Bluebell acrylic paint. Once that dried, we were able to add the crystal glaze on top, and it had a little dimension because of the thickness of the paint. Or you could do the same technique whether using expand paste or the dimensional paste that's already pre-colored with the acrylic paint. So those two colors shine through, and with the added touch of the crystal glaze, it gives a great little finish to this project. Another technique using the same crystal glaze at the bottom layer, which is your first background, crystal glaze on top, and since it's clear, your color's still showing through. And here's a little bit of the dimensional paste tinted with the ballet slipper acrylic paint. It just adds a little dimension to the card front, and it makes it really pretty and soft. It's a beautiful card. And then the roses with a repetitive pattern with the rose. one at the top and one at the bottom. And this is just using one of the stencils. You didn't do any of the additional layers to create the detail. It's just kind of going a different direction. This one is shifted around. So with the converter, we put the stencil upside down and the rose is coming down. Here it is the way it was intended. And then here is just one of the top layers. So all these projects will be wonderful, whether you're giving them as a gift, sending them in the mail, wrapping them up, or decorating your home. They're all wonderful projects that anybody would love to receive or you would love to have surrounded in your home.